You are listening to the We Hired a Sitter for This podcast.
We hired a sitter for this.
We have a roster of like 7 sitters.
I hate authority, but I'm a mom.
I'm an old man. I need orthopedic shoes.
The laughs, the chuckles, the TMI.
Some people might say, why would you have kids? The oceans are rising. The economy's collapsing.
And they're not wrong. I'm Ross.
And I'm Patrick.
And we hired a sitter.
Gastor, how are you this week? I missed you.
Always good, Patrick. Good to see you too, homie. Miss you too, bro.
This is the one of the weird byproducts of podcasting. You came in, you just got here, and I'm like, we can't talk now. We gotta if we're gonna talk and be friendly. If you want pleasantries, wait till I hit record because we're crunching for time.
Listen, we only got an hour of good in us. Okay?
Yeah,
we need it for the pot.
Yeah, so we're podcasting from Bushwick. You're parked outside. You've learned that parking can be harrowing over here.
Yeah, it's a bit of a challenge. There's a lot of people doing real jobs.
Yeah,
they get here earlier than us. They beat us to spots, and I come in, 11, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. Started my workday, and they're like, nah, we like our actual adults. We do real jobs. We get here early, so there's no spots ever. You know?
If you want to clock in, you better rise much earlier than this. I'm gonna just adjust this camera a little bit. You can feel free to narrate if you like.
I like seeing the background work getting done. Yeah, it's magical. People got to see that there's a real artistry being done here. People
are these clips aren't going to just make themselves. We need this green screen. We need it to work. So, but yeah, it's good to see you.
Likewise, brother.
I was just reporting to you that Ross came in. She recorded an episode. She's back. She wanted a piece of this pie, man.
I love it, yo. Back in action, baby. The OG.
Yeah.
The original.
Yeah. How was your weekend? Did you watch the games? Did you watch the playoffs?
I bet money on the games. I lost on both.
Oh, you're that into sports.
Yeah,
How much money are we talking?
Nothing too crazy. It's $1 on each, but
one single dollar.
No, $100.
Oh, okay. Each game. Okay, that's how gamblers talk.
How about you?
I did not watch. I did not gamble. That's for sure. I was curious because I know you're a sports fan, and I this is how lame my life is. I was going to bed Sunday night, and all these headlines start coming up about the Super Bowl and Taylor Swift and whatever, and I'm like, oh, these were the important games.
Oh my God, yes. Yes, they were. Yes, they were, Patrick.
So tell me, I want to know the role. I want to know the role of sports in your life as a human, as a dad, as a pressure relief, as a comic. Now I want to ask you a bunch of questions about gambling, but first start with sports. I'm curious I want to know if there's a relationship between sports and your son, or daughter, or family, or dad, or whatever. Like what does a weekend of football games look like in the Almonte household? I
mean, it's honestly the time I'm given the most peace. It's the only day I have domain in the living room. Do
you have an armchair?
Yeah, I got my own chair. No one sits in it. My son tries to now, but even he knows, like, if I walk in, to just stand up. He doesn't even, like, need me to ask anymore.
That is so old school.
Straight up. It's just my seat. Everyone knows it. It's even, like, a family thing. Like, when my in-laws come in, they don't just sit. They ask, are you going to sit down?
Yeah.
And if I say, I always say no because, like, out of respect. But they, out of respect, don't just assume it's their seat. It's the only seat that's like reserved.
How many miles are on this chair? How many years have you had it?
It's racking them up right now. It's got to be at I would say 9 or 10. It's pretty close to the decade mark.
Jennifer convertibles? Are we talking?
My old company, baby, is Bob's Furniture.
Oh, you work there too?
Yeah,
on Metropolitan.
I worked at the one. I worked at 2 of them. I was at the one in Flushing that's no longer there now, and I was a manager at the one in Yonkers.
Did you get the employee discount?
I did, yeah.
Nice.
It's not bad, yo. You worked at the one in Queens?
No, I've driven by there going to Trader Joe's. I've done some manual labor in my life, though.
Amen.
I worked at a hardware store. I did some roofing, did some hay baling.
Hell yeah.
Worked at a garage doing oil changes.
My man.
This is me overcompensating. You clearly making fun of me that I definitely didn't work at Bob's Furniture store.
Nothing wrong with that.
I just want you to know I've put some calluses on these hands.
Hell yeah. That's beautiful.
That's great. So the chair, so that's Dad's chair, and everybody knows
100%. No one touches it if I'm there. like it's left open in general, and then like my son, like over the last like year, he's kind of started sitting there, which being frank, like he needs to if I'm not there, because he's like significantly taller than my wife and daughter now.
Yeah.
So like just on space shit, like it was too many of them on the other sofa.
Right.
But if I show up, he stands up and he sits on one of the stools.
And there's a ceremonious changing of the guard.
Hell yeah.
Changing of the chair. I like that.
Yeah, it's dope. He even like sometimes like he won't notice that I'm in. And like when I creep up, he's like, "Oh," and he like jumps up, like he's like, "Oh, it's my bad, like I fucked up." It's
that
legit.
is respect.
Yeah, yo, it's dope.
What all happens in this chair? Just TV viewing, sports watching, or are you doing some writing in this chair?
I do a lot of napping on the chair. It's like it's kind of like my overall like surveillance place.
Yeah,
you know, like
you have every angle of the whole
yeah,
house.
I could cover the whole crib.
You're like Jack Reacher. He's
Straight
got to
up.
see all angles, entrances, and exits.
Dude, 2 of the 3 entrances are in front of me. I could see the kids' bedrooms. I know who's like awake or who's not.
The auditory channels
And
are open.
yeah, I
You
can listen
hear
to everything. So like I'll take a nap.
It's central command.
Straight up, yo. Somebody shows up, they gotta come in through the area, so I know who came in my house.
Yeah.
You know, and it just lets, like, if Gabby leaves and it's like my day with the kids or my time with the kids, that's how I babysit. You know,
Yeah.
like that's how I take care of them. Like I'm listening, but I'm sleeping. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I watch games on there. I watch a lot of like I'm a comedian, obviously, so like I watch a lot of pilot episodes. So that's something that like me and the kids might do together. And yeah, I do some writing.
You're like, guys, help me figure out what the inciting incident is here, and if they're
Straight
developing
up.
these characters fast enough.
Yo, my kid, I might not make it, but my kids will, cause like we break down pilots all the time.
Yeah, what? Just mostly comedy pilots, or
A lot of first episodes in general, but mostly comedy. But
Yeah.
we've watched Breaking Bad a few times together. The pilot episode. We watched The
it's
Bear.
family friendly.
Yeah, of course. You got to throw in a few of those, you know. And Sopranos. We
Did you
watched
say The
that
Bear?
pilot. Yeah,
That's intense too.
The Bear's intense too. Then you know we got some more like family friendly pilots. The Abbott Elementary pilot is like
Yeah.
really like well done.
Yeah.
Malcolm in the
Janelle's on
Middle.
there.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a few pilots that like I think really like check the boxes, and when I feel like I wanna write, I watch those over and over again. And
Yeah.
like they see the beats now. They understand what I'm looking for.
Yeah, and I'll just say for the casual listener or watcher here, it's very common that when you're going to write a script, a spec script, or develop an idea or whatever, you want to write a pilot first. And in the first episode of anything, that's when you learn about who these people are, what the situation is, and it's a very specific thing compared to what the other
rest
episodes.
of the show. Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. So my
And
kids
I'm
have
just-
learned about it. You know what I
I'm
mean?
kind of making that up. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
But
But
that's
yeah,
cool.
that's my seat for all things.
Yeah.
Is theirs, mine.
There's
Only,
a lot of good memories in that.
yo, straight up. That's like, because everything I've seen in my family is from there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like my daughter making her first sandwich. You know what I mean? My kids doing homework. My kids helping each other with homework. That was like real dope for me.
Yeah.
You know
that's
what I mean?
Beautiful.
Yeah. So like all of that is from that view.
And do you attach sentimentality to objects? Like this chair, you now have this nostalgia for these memories from this chair. And I'm asking you this for a reason, but like, are you romantic in that way? Are you sentimental in that kind of way?
I am, and I'm trying to be less so.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's part of like we talked about like the clothes thing.
Yes.
That was part of why like I made that pivot, because I'm trying to do that less.
Yeah.
Because like it's at the end of the day, it's still a 10-year-old like seat. Like I gotta throw that out at some
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
it-
How's the structure of it?
it's struggling. I'm a big dude in general, you know, so like it ain't built for a lot anymore, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, Bob's great value, not necessarily like meant to last 20 years, you know.
They're like the Forever 21 of furniture.
Yeah,
store.
you know, it's
Yeah.
pretty good stuff for 5 years, but yo, don't be pushing it, okay? So yeah, I think it's around that point where like I got to start looking at a replacement.
And so you're gonna engage in like the Buddhist approach to things, the Zen approach, where it's just like, this is just an object. I can throw it away. I can get a new one. I had good times in this chair, but it's time to move on.
Yeah, I'm trying to like do the whole like I forget the lady, the
Oh yeah,
the-
sparking joy.
yeah, like kind of like that, where like if this makes me happy, I keep it type thing, and
Mhm.
also like I'm trying to practice. If something comes in, something got to go out.
Right. That's good.
You know what I mean? So yeah.
So I asked about that because I probably, maybe I already talked about this last episode, but Ross is ruthless with what gets thrown out. Like if that was her chair, it would have been gone 3 years ago, and you'd be sitting on the floor until you went out and got your own chair again.
You need a Ross, yo. Real talk. My wife is like that too. She like when the quarantine started, I needed a place to do comedy that didn't interfere with the family because like she was no longer going out to work, so I couldn't use the living room. Yeah. And I had a room downstairs.
Oh, I saw that room.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So like that used to be just like a crazy mess of all of my life.
Yeah.
And I told her, I was like, yo, I need this office. And I went down there. I tried for like 3 days. And I would just come up with nothing done. I would just emotionally be like hugging a bag of like wires that like reminded me of when I recorded rappers in like 98.
Yeah, and we all have that bag of cables that don't even plug into anything anymore.
At all.
I have AC adapters in here somewhere that go to computers that don't even exist.
Yo, CRT cables. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, maybe one day I'm going to need that monitor. I'm going to need that other extra screen. Actually, no, I finally did get rid of this computer tower over here. I truly thought, I was like, well, one day I'm going to have such a big production company, the secretary's going to need a computer to at least return emails.
Amen.
But I'd like, that never happened because here we are.
Give it time, baby. It's coming.
Yeah, so, you got to purging. We're always purging in our house.
So, I asked her to go down there for me.
Yeah.
And she, like, threw out all my stuff.
Yeah.
She put it in bags, and she came up. She's like, Gastor, you can't look at any bag.
Yeah.
And she's like, we like garbage day, we're throwing them out together, but I couldn't look because she knew, she was like, you're going to want to keep stuff.
Yes, that's so smart. And now that 2 years have gone by or whatever, do you miss a single thing?
No, she won. There was, I would say, like, I would ask randomly, like, hey, is this there? And, like, she's been like on point where like, yup, that is there and it's here. Like there hasn't been a single time that even if something I thought of that I haven't seen, it's around there. So she won. Everything she threw out had to go.
And now when you replace the chair, is she in charge of sourcing the chair, or can you you're going to spend a lot of time in this new chair, so will you go demo some chairs? Will you take some test drives? Take
you
around
got
the block,
to
kick some tires?
I got to pick my chair because like, I used to like I'm cool with Gabby running pilot on everything in the house. Sincerely, it's less that I got to do anyway.
Right.
But I learned this in furniture, but I realized this even before that. Comfortable means very different things to people.
Yeah.
And one of those things has to do with like height. So like seats that Gabby finds comfortable don't work for me. I'm a foot taller than her.
Yeah.
You know, so like the first like 2 sofa sets we had as a family, hated them.
Yeah.
I could not sit in the living room. I'm like, yo, shorty, this is built for you short people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not 5'3". I can't sit on this. This doesn't work for me.
So what'd you do? Did you bring in some cinder blocks, get it up a little higher?
I would just come and talk in the living room and leave.
Yeah.
Like I would just go back to our room. Like, and I'm like, this ain't like we would have parties and I just couldn't like be in the center of the space.
People are like, what's wrong with Gastor? Is he sad over there?
Like,
no, he's just too tall. He's too tall. That's why.
So you or your in-laws, they're all like 5'6" and under.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My boy George, tallest guy in the family, he 5'8". You know what I mean? All you gotta do is just pints. I'm like 6 feet tall, something like that. But like, it's just I'm not a giant, but like I'm significantly taller than her. Yeah. So like what she needs just doesn't work.
Right.
For me. You know what I mean? So like, and again, and I don't want her to be uncomfortable either. Pick something that works for you, but that one seat gotta be mine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And furniture is a big purchase. So Ross and I, we started a financial journey like maybe 5 or 6 years ago now, where because we got married. We've been together 13 years. Actually, Saturday was our 13-year anniversary of dating.
Gang.
Yeah. We never got our money on the same page for years, and so now it's like right now a big purchase we got to do is we got to put up a wall in the living room to create like a little bedroom for ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's going to be probably $2,000 if we use the cheap company that does it. And now it's like we got to plan for that. We got to budget for that. We got to like talk about it and like look at what's coming in, what's going out. Do you guys do that kind of stuff? Or how do you guys handle like a big furniture purchase like that?
We got one unified account. and we got to put the same amount in it every month.
Mm-hmm.
And anything that we do outside of that, I don't care.
Yeah.
So like if she wants to buy something and it's from her money, I don't care as long as the same amount went into the account.
Yeah.
So I put in more because I make more, but it's more so about like this is what we agreed that we consistently need for a family to like pay our bills.
Yeah.
And in turn, it allows each of us to like kind of do our frivolous shit. You know, like I spend an obscene amount on sneakers. I know, but like I don't do it first. I paid the house bill first.
Yeah, yeah.
And in turn, I don't care like if Gabby like yo, she dropped $60 on Starbucks. That's just crazy to me, but cool.
Yeah.
You know, don't matter.
I like that system. It's very like organized crime. You know, like you got to pay your deposit, and then we'll take care of you. You got to take care of that first.
So like whenever we thinking about like yo, you want to buy a sofa, we know where to look.
Right.
This is the family account. It's in here.
Yeah.
And then like if it's something that like you really really want to do on your own, go do it.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's a necessity, we check there first. So yeah, every now and then a necessity, I might cop it on my own because I'm like, yeah, like we need this, and I'll do it out of my bread.
Yeah.
But in general, everything comes from there first.
So there's a system though.
Yeah, you got to, man. Like, too many. I feel like all the breakups happen because of money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we wanted to skip all that. So it was like, yo, this is how it is. This is where it comes from.
And where did you learn that from?
Sopranos. You know what I
mean? Was it the pilot episode? Actually, in fact, that's the only episode of Sopranos I've seen is the pilot.
Really?
I got to catch up on Sopranos and football.
Yo.
And by the way, I enjoy football games. It's been years since I knew what was going on. I wanted to check in with you. So you're talking about this chair. It's a little rough. You talked about being a big guy. You also mentioned a couple weeks ago your walking journey.
Yeah.
How's the exercise and walking journey going?
Not bad. I would say so this month very low for normal people numbers. I get this. But I'm hitting 3,000 steps a day. Last year my average day was 1,900 for the year.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so this is the most I've ever walked on average in like probably 2 years.
Wow. Good for you.
Yeah.
3,000 sounds like a lot. I don't know what any of that means.
It's not a lot. It's like 1.5 miles a day in total walking.
Yeah.
Most like for health, they want you to do 10,000 steps.
Okay.
And like I think the average person in New York does like 5 to 7.
Yeah.
So my goal is to like move up 1,000 every month.
Yeah.
Until like I'm doing that.
Yeah.
I used to do that pre-lockdown.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to build back up to that regularly.
You ever talk to Freddie G about this stuff?
Yeah, man. Freddie's a big health nut. He bought me a book. Really like appreciate it. He gave me like a whole health book of like things that he ate to like help his transformation.
Wow.
Yeah, Freddie's the homie, man. Real talk. He got me when I found out I was diabetic, he got me a gift card for like some fancy nuts.
Nice.
Straight up. It was cool, man. I had it delivered and like it came with like these notes of like these are like Indonesian cranberries and shit like that. It was like real specific fruits and nuts.
Yeah, I a few summers ago I cut out sugar for like a month. I was losing my mind doing it, but the nuts were a big part of it.
Yeah.
And a well-timed macadamia nut is like tastes like dessert when you like stop putting so much sugar in your like when I stopped doing that, certain nuts tasted so good. I know this sounds terrible out of context, but when I put those nuts in my mouth, they just did something.
Cam and Mace would be all over you right now, like pause, B.
Yeah. But Freddie, I remember Freddie when he started his journey like 8 years ago, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He talked a lot about getting off subway stops early. Like if let's say he had to go to 14th Street for some reason, he would get out at 23rd and then walk the rest of the way to 14th. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's dope.
He would get out a stop early wherever he was going. It was just a rule he lived by for a while.
Okay.
And I thought that was so clever because it's like, you got to build the exercise into the day.
Straight up. That's why we record in Bushwick. I can't park anywhere near here.
Yeah, you're going to have to
start walking it, yo.
Yeah.
That's why we doing it, baby.
I am impressed as a New Yorker that you're able to keep. I mean, I kind of want to get a pedometer or whatever it's called to see how low I can go. Because I love the idea
You
of
got
doing...
the iPhone, though. Check on the health app.
It does follow you, right?
Yeah, that's literally what I do. I check on the health app.
Let's see where I'm at. It would tell me my average?
Yeah, right there. Click on the little heart.
Okay, let's see.
It's going to show you your daily walking.
What if
You've
I...
never done this before, apparently.
What if I, what if I told it not to track my...
Nah, there you go. So that's what you've done today. Click on that. Bang. And
Right,
those are your daily, that's for the week. So like,
I did 3860 already today?
yeah, and
Wow.
your peak day was that day. You did almost 10,000 steps.
Wow.
See, and then like, you can see like your average. So your average is like 6,000. So you want the
Okay.
money.
Nice.
Yeah, that's about an average day for a New Yorker.
Yeah.
And then it tells you like how much you're doing versus last year. So like today you're doing that. You ahead of where you would normally be at for a day like today. It's pretty dope, man.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah, it lets you know where you at. Like if you act, it gives you even more and more info every year.
But what do you think of these devices tracking where we go in the world?
Some of it is scary, admittedly, but like I also realize that like I'm not important.
Yeah.
You know, like no one's really like tracking me. Like if real talk, if Apple is like, yo, you know what I want to know? What's Gastor doing right now? Like, yo, real talk. I mean, y'all are fucking up the money.
It's kind of nice to be thought about, honestly. It's just nice to be remembered sometimes.
This guy just keeps getting sandwiches every day. I don't know what.
You know, there's a whole Reddit page devoted to where Elon Musk's plane is.
Yeah, I've heard of this.
There's people tracking his every movement.
Yo, there was like a dude on. She sued the dude on Twitter that like made an app.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, I would love to have that.
That is some next level celebrity status, and that's like, I mean, I think it's people criticizing him for the amount of fuel he uses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So tell me about the walks though. I one day you were posting some photography from things you noticed around the neighborhood while you were on the walk. I thought that was really beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. Does it feel like you're this feels like something you want to get deeper into?
Yeah, but on both ends, the photography and the walking, it lets me like forget that I'm walking.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm also like just finding. I'm learning parts of my neighborhood that I like didn't know were there because you can't discover them without I found like a couple of parks.
Yeah.
There's like architecture stuff that I like looking at. So yeah, like I dig like getting to see my neighborhood from this perspective up close.
Yeah.
That like admittedly like I didn't growing up.
Yeah.
And even when I was on those streets younger, it was always late.
Yeah.
So like seeing things in the daylight is different.
Yeah.
A lot more beauty than I realized. I kind of dig it, you know.
Yeah.
I really like am enjoying the walks. They're healthy, so yeah, I'm happy. I'm gonna keep doing them.
Well, one thing I noticed about your social life and your block, I was returning gear to you one night, and we were in the bodega next to your house. You literally live next to a bodega.
Hell yeah!
Everybody knows you there.
Yeah,
you could probably stand outside. I think you call yourself the bodega bouncer sometimes.
Yes,
right?
indeed.
Is that one of the words?
Yes, indeed.
I loved the idea that you could have a whole social life just holding court on that corner with people you know, people you've known forever, people you're just meeting. That night, it was kind of funny. I think that guy was just learning you were a comic. Or
yeah, because to most people, I'm just like my dad's son.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, yo, that's Leo's kid, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, like they just assume I'm just like a regular dude from the block. They don't know that I do stand up.
So you could just be a superintendent on your block with your buildings and not be a comic, not do any of this stuff.
Yeah.
Not be interested in walking the neighborhood. I'm getting deep and philosophical here, but what do you think is in your DNA that makes you need to get out and express yourself, and whether it's just on a walk, taking photos, or getting on stage and telling your stories?
That's it's a loaded question.
I'm making a documentary about you. Did you know that this podcast is just
my like, if I had all the money in the world, like sincerely, like I had no concern for money, I would buy a corner store in Brooklyn, and I would give away groceries to my locals, and like, yeah, if you got money, buy it so that you know, it's not like a free for all, if you will.
Yeah.
But like, I want the freedom to like, anytime a little kid walk up to me, like, yo, I want chips. Yeah, grab that little man. I want that and not have to be worried that like, yo, we going out of business. That's my dream. And I want to literally just sit on a milk crate in the front of the store and just tell people, hey, what's up? How you doing? Oh, that's what's up. How you having a good day? I love that. That's literally my freaking vision board. It's just bodega bouncer of a bodega that doesn't need to make money. That is all I want and aspire for.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what drives my comedy. Like I like connecting with people. I feel a real debt to East New York in particular, but Brooklyn and New York in general. I learned a lot about work ethic, morals from people that I don't think people normally associate that with. So yeah, I vibe with my hood. I vibe with my city. I vibe with the people that it represents. I think it's the most American of all places because it's a whole bunch of people that go there. They immigrate to this country and they kind of go there and like they hit like start, like it's like the Monopoly board. They just passed go for the first time, you know? So like they're going around for the first time this game board. They're trying to learn how to play the game. And a lot of people start that in East New York. So like I feel a need to kind of go and share this story with people of like, yo, I know I look scary, but I'm actually a family-friendly guy. I like hugs. You know, I like flowers. And so do all these other people. You just don't see that because they happen to work like a 12-hour shift at a warehouse. So when they come out, you know, they look like they worked.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. So it's different. But yo, you give them a chance to kind of spruce up Sunday's best. You see that they lovely people. And maybe a generation or two from now, when they could build on that, those kids are going to be artsy and all of that. And then that's the other part of it. Like, I think of like both of my parents came from like poor farming families in the Dominican Republic. And like, they're thankfully pretty successful now. Yeah. And like, it makes me wonder, like, yo, like, I wonder if like one of my aunts would have been like, an actress or a painter, right, or some like weird arts thing that like she couldn't pursue because it just wasn't even like fathomable. It wasn't something they could imagine. Yeah. So yeah, that's why I tell jokes. I feel like I'm getting a shot to do the weird artsy thing that they couldn't even dream of. Yeah, yeah. You know what I mean?
Well, and I like the description of you on the milk crate connecting with people like that because I got to witness that when we did a show together for I think it was 5 or 6 people in that apartment building. And, okay. And I made the mistake of booking just me, you, and one other comic. So we all did like a half an hour or more. And you were like, do you mind if I just sit and talk to them? Yeah. So you sat on the stool on stage, of course, and you talked to them. And it was great. It was hilarious, but it was also like very connecting. And it was another neighborhood in Brooklyn. And, you know, you have material about your neighborhood in Brooklyn. And yeah, it really did feel like you are an ambassador for where you're from and the kind of family you're from and the kind of values you have, and it was great. And what you just described, I got to see in person, and that's why all of you should follow Gastor Almonte and go see him in Plano, Texas is coming up, right? This will be out by then, right?
I think so, yeah. I'll be out there, yo. And even if not, you know what I mean? Hopefully you saw me. You know what I mean?
No, we'll put this episode up tomorrow, Wednesday, January 31st. So that gives you some hours to find where he's playing in Plano, Texas this weekend.
Baby. House of Comedy.
How about that? I drop dates in the middle of the episode. No, I love that. I think the more we can learn about you, the better everybody's going to love this show because, you're the man.
It's way more heartfelt than I thought he was going today, you know?
Well, we can get...
but I like that.
We can mix it up.
All that's to say is that we need women in our lives to throw out our stuff.
Yes.
That's where we were getting at.
Yeah. Thank God, Ross. Ross, I mean, actually, where she comes in clutch with the minimization is with, kids' clothes. Like, the kids grow into stuff quickly, and then they grow out of the old stuff, or they wear through stuff, and it's like, it's just like a rotating...
It's got to go.
Rotating cast of wardrobe, and I like, get attached to certain little T-shirts. I'm like, oh, I love that when she wore that. What I have to rely on is photography. I'm like, I got pictures of her in that little outfit. I've got pictures of her in those sneakers or whatever. Just get rid of them. There's no reason to keep anything.
Yeah.
You gotta let go.
I like that. That first time you notice that your kid is too old for kid clothes.
Yeah.
Because like baby clothes has like a certain feel of like this is too soft for normal.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and like that first time like your kid is like gangly and like they gonna tear through the clothes, you're like, oh, you need regular shit.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's a good feeling. You know?
Need some denim.
Yeah, you know, something that's built to like deal with you.
I can remember being a little kid, like now I'll see Franny, like she'll feel a tag or something against her skin and she won't like the way it feels. And I can remember, did you ever have that where like you were too sensitive to tags or denim or corduroy pants? I remember putting on corduroy pants thinking like, what is this torture device that my mother just put me in? Like I can't wear this all day. I'm gonna like die if this like sandpaper keeps scratching at me.
Yeah,
and
I didn't
now,
do the corduroy pants.
Yeah, you weren't doing corduroy in East New York?
Not at all, yo. Like I told my mom, like, yo, those shits look like the wall in Uncle's basement.
they are terrible. When you're a kid, that's like it's very lame. I went through a phase in adulthood where I was trying to make corduroys work, and then I did the thing where I had two pairs of these interesting colored Levi corduroys when I was probably 28, 29. And at 28, 29, I'm at like a 31 waist. I'm like feeling slim and trim. I'm in shape. And then that stopped happening. But I was like, I'm going to keep these pants because eventually I'll get back down. I'll slim up again. So I kept them for like 7 years. And during the pandemic, I finally was like, these are not happening. These pants are not happening. None of these medium-sized button-down shirts are happening anymore. Everything's got to go.
Yeah, that was my wife was like, even if you get back down to the size, none of this shit's in style anymore. You're gonna go back to wearing like FUBU and Rocawear. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What are the brands? Like
I don't even know what's popping today like that. I'm like I said, I'm fully dickied out.
Yeah, you went working class.
Yeah, yo. But yeah, like she was like, you got mad LRG, freaking Anichi.
Yeah, I remember Anichi. I got a Nietzsche. I got a velour suit. I was in college.
Okay.
And this is when Padiz Nizzle Pat was going on, my first rap incarnation. And I worked some summer job where they were like, all right, at the end of the summer, you get like a $400 stipend for a lot of work. And at that time, though, I was like, I've never made $400 at once. I'm going to buy something stupid with this. So I got a velour suit at the Roosevelt Field Mall in Long Island, blue and white. And I was like, this is hilarious that I have like a Tony Soprano looking suit. Or like P. Diddy was wearing them at the time. Like all those guys. I was like, this is for the joke. I spent like $300 on this stupid suit that I wore like 3 times on stage. And same thing. I kept it in the closet. I'm like, I'm going to shoot a sketch or something with this thing. Never did. Finally got rid of it.
The signs that you needed Ross in your life were there early.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah. She saved me.
Real talk, yo.
In many ways. Thank God for 13 years with her.
So you don't do like any like sports things in general? Like you don't watch sports on TV at all?
I like I said, I've watched football. When I used to work the road more often for TV stuff, I would watch a lot of sports with this guy Chuck that I worked with a lot. We would watch a lot of games at bars. Like it gave us a reason to like go out at night.
Yeah.
I grew up a Yankee fan. Watched a lot of baseball as a kid. But yeah, I guess I just don't have the room for it or the energy or something. I did have a Sports Illustrated subscription for some years because the writing was so good.
Hey, they just announced they shutting down.
I know, it's crazy. Because I do like the long arcing narratives that happen. I love a sports documentary, like
hell yeah,
like the 30 for 30 series. I've seen a ton of those. I think those are amazing.
Yeah, yo.
I love and respect sports, but I'm not like a fan. I think I had this college professor who he was like kind of a conspiracy theorist. He would be like, and we were all there to study how to get into media and broadcasting and mainstream media. But he would tell us, he was like the kind of guy who'd be like, if you're a fan of any team, you're just sheep. You wear any clothes that have a brand name on it, you're sheep. That means the marketers won. The corporations are taking over your brains.
I love this guy.
And he said for Super Bowl Sunday, he's like, if you stay at home and watch the Super Bowl, you're a sucker. You live 20 miles from the best city in the entire world. If you don't go to the restaurant you can't normally get reservations to on Super Bowl Sunday, you're a sucker. And that was his whole angle on the Super Bowl, was like, you got to go to a nice restaurant instead of watching this football game.
Okay.
And there was something, I mean, obviously he was a little nutty, but there was something that I did retain from that. But now I'm also kind of like, I see how sports can connect people.
Yeah.
I see, especially, I'm most attracted to how sports can connect young people with other people they normally wouldn't mix with. So, like, I want Frances to get involved with sports or some kind of activity where she'll meet lots of other people from different parts of the city and all that stuff. And then the bonding between, you know, like, like if you and your dad bonded over football, I think that's cool. My dad is into NASCAR.
Okay.
I could never really get into NASCAR that much. Like, I like cars, but like it never really stuck as a bonding point. You know?
I was jealous we didn't have that in Brooklyn, yo. I wanted to like do the car thing, yo. That should be fire. It's just you can't like get into NASCAR and stop and go traffic in New York, you know. But that just seems awesome.
And
we need Dominican NASCAR drivers, yo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want like a dude in NASCAR where like the sticker says "Que lo que," you know, next to his car. That should be fire.
What does that mean?
It's just like the Dominican way of saying "what's up," but it means just
Que lo
like
que?
Yeah, but it just translates directly to like what the what.
Yeah.
But it's like, yo, what's up? You know?
Yeah.
I just think, and we got like a lot of cool like Latin products. You know what I mean? You could have like a Bustelo sponsored NASCAR. I think that yellow would look fire.
Oh, it would,
on the car. You know what I mean? We could do it.
And here comes Gastor in the Bustelo car. He's coming up quickly to this red light. He's going to have to slow down. Oh, he's stopped again.
There you go. He needs more
And
Bustelo.
it's going to be green in just a moment. Got to wait for this crosswalk. Actually, they do. I was in Nashville over the summer, and they do block off city streets to have like different road races. I don't think it's NASCAR, but that seems insane. Like, that would be kind of fun to have a drag strip under the J train.
It should be fire. We do it for the marathon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We could do like a New York go-kart or some shit.
Yeah. 5-borough bike tour. Get out of here. Let's soup up some Honda Accords.
Hell yeah, yo.
Rip around the city.
I'm with it. I had it's funny you mentioned that too. My boy, one of my neighbors used to rob cars, and like we was hanging out
as a teenager. What age are we talking?
I would assume mostly younger.
Yeah.
But and that was part of like his issue. Like he I don't even know. Like we were just like talking about like the good old days.
Yeah.
And that was his like good old day share. Like we was all like hanging out. He's like, man, he's like, I miss robbing cars, but he's like, you know, they all got GPSs now. You know, like, what good is like getting into the car if they gonna know I'm in the car?
Yeah.
You know, and he's like, I miss the simplicity of just robbing a Honda.
Back when it was analog.
Yeah, you know, the good old days. You know?
When the car, it had a little warmth to it. Now it's all cold and digital.
You know, rob cars, listen to records when you get home.
Although the Kia brand has become incredibly easy to steal. From what I understand. Yeah, there's like a couple years there worth of cars actually on the Bushwick subreddit, which I've talked about on this podcast way too many times now. There's a whole storyline about a couple people's Kias gone missing because of this. It's like a USB hack or something. Like you literally, it's something with Bluetooth. It's something with Bluetooth or USB, and you just like code into the car, and you can start the car and take people's cars.
That is awesome, yo.
And actually, what is her name? Crystal Adams has a whole chunk about it in her act because it happened to her in San Francisco a few years ago.
That's so sad.
Yeah. So that's why your kids got to go to coding boot camp so they can learn how to steal a Kia Sorento.
Real talk, yo. If you got a Kia. In general, be like, I'm sorry.
Watch it.
You know what I mean?
You're looking at a Kia Sorento.
You a Kia
over
owner?
here. Yeah.
What?
We got a 2010 Kia Sorento, which we call the Kia Compromise, because the shitty car we had before that, I got rear-ended in. It got totaled. And we were in a bind. We were like, we need a car. We're too like spoiled into having I got a parking spot behind my building, so we're like, we got to replace this car. This is summer 2016, so we went to I never did this. I would never do it again. I hope I wouldn't do it again. But we went to a used car dealership, got a 2010 Kia Sorento, 100,000 miles on it.
How much was that? Like $84?
I wish.
You had a Kia with 100,000 miles? Yo, I didn't know they built that like that, yo.
Coming up on 190 now.
Yo.
I put some miles on this thing. So all this to say, if you got a problem with that, when we go to Hyde Park next month, you're driving.
I'm with it, yo. Real talk, B. Think I'm gonna go from a Pathfinder to the Kia. Nah, B.
Kia Compromise.
Not happening.
Oh yeah,
homie.
we call it the Kia Compromise because we went to so many used car dealerships and we didn't like any cars, but we like needed to get a car, so we compromised our morals and our values and with each other and settled on this Kia Sorento.
I don't know if my wife would stay with me if I had a Kia.
Wow.
Real talk. Like that might be a deal breaker for Gabby.
Yeah.
She'd be like, yo, for real? This is what? Nah, it's over.
What's a Pathfinder? Is that a Nissan?
Yeah, it's the 7-seater joint. It's just cool. We could throw anything in the back and it still don't interfere. Everybody still got seating.
Yeah.
It's dope. You know what I mean?
The kids sit in the way back.
Aiden does now. He likes to like the area for himself.
Yeah.
But normally, if we just in a rush, he's starting to take the front seat.
Yeah.
From
Is
Gabby.
anybody calling shotgun? Yeah.
Gabby usually
okay
takes it, but like if she in the mood, she like leave my seat alone.
Yeah.
But yeah, Aiden is starting to sit in the front when she's not there for sure. He's starting to feel like, oh yeah, I'm like tall enough that I belong here.
Yeah.
But if we're all four in, everybody got a row.
Let me ask you this: as a headlining comedian, I'm a headlining comedian too. I can.
Hell
headline.
yeah.
I got hours and hours of shit I could do. No. But let's say as a headliner, you're like, all right, I need an opener who can drive for me.
Yeah.
And the opener pulls up. He's in a Kia Sorento.
Not happening.
You're just like, I hired the wrong guy.
Real talk. He would be fired instantly. Like that would be a pre-discussion.
Because it gets worse. It gets worse. My Kia Sorento. So a few summers ago, the summer before the pandemic, I was driving Jacob Williams to a bunch of gigs, and I would open for him. And he's a sweet guy. He's not gonna say anything. But on that trip, my driver's side door handle wouldn't open the door, so anytime we got in the car, I would have to open the back door behind my door and then reach up. I'd have to dislocate my shoulder to reach up and open the door from the inside and let myself in.
Nah, B.
And every single time I would say something self-deprecating, like, dude, I'm sorry, I know it's the car, I gotta get it fixed, thanks for rolling with it. You'd be like, no, it's no big deal, whatever.
It's a huge deal. Your car doesn't work, my G. What are we talking about here? We've come too far as a people, okay, to deal with certain things, okay?
Yeah.
You have a literal computer as your phone, okay? You can't have...
This has more megabytes than the Kia Compromise, by the way. The Kia I have, it barely has a computer in it. There's definitely no screen.
Yo, that's just crazy, dude.
I got no reverse camera. You have a reverse camera?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck off.
Real talk,
yeah.
B.
But listen, I got it fixed. I got that door handle fixed. Now flash forward to just 2 weekends ago. Jacob says, yeah, come open for me in Connecticut. We'll drive up to Connecticut.
What a glutton for punishment. Jacob, you could do better.
You pick me up at this time. I go to his house, and I was like, hey, I got to let you know, my door handle works fine, but it's your side that now doesn't work. So whenever you get in the car, you got to stand outside like a sucker until I get in, and then I lean over and reach across like we're in the Bronx Tale.
Jacob, is that what you signed up for? 10 years of stand-up, B. You've been doing this game, B. You crushing it out there, B. I'm not saying don't hire Patrick. I'm not saying don't have him drive. I'm saying get another car. Make him get the other car.
Yeah.
Call in a favor. Yo, listen, can I borrow your car? But you shouldn't be in that situation no more, B. We work too hard to sling these jokes.
Hey, in my defense, it's clean. It's not really that clean. It gets us where we're going. It's fuel efficient. It's comfortable. It's not that comfortable.
It can't be. You already dislocated your shoulder getting into the car. Jacob, you deserve better, okay? Stop being a glutton for punishment, Jacob. I'm not even gonna say you a nice guy, okay? The only reason you are allowing this, you got some weird kink, okay? And just say that. Like, hey, listen, like, I like being embarrassed and being told to wait outside in the rain while Patrick opens the car for me. You know, it's how I get off.
Yeah.
If you said that, I'd accept it. I'd appreciate that honesty. But no, don't tell me that you're doing this because you're being a nice dude. Okay.
I think people want to feel. They don't want to feel too fancy when they get to the gig. Like if you get to the gig and you're in a Bentley or a Maybach.
Okay.
You want to look as comics. We want to come across as working class. Like we're of the people.
My car's older, but the doors work. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not telling you to come out stunting. I'm just saying like basic human necessities, my G.
Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get 1 to 3 more years out of this Kia Sorento. We're gonna run this thing. We're gonna get up to 200K at least. And also we're also in the phase where Franny's sitting in the back. She's eating goldfish. There's goldfish crumbs everywhere. There's random cheddar bunnies. There's God knows what. I mean, one day I found up a chewed up piece of bacon just under her seat that she started but didn't finish. So I'm like, why are we going to get a new car while she is in her pigsty phase?
You see how they justify this nonsense, B? Blaming this poor innocent child, yo. Franny ain't do none of this, yo. Okay? Franny ain't even have bacon, okay? All right? You seen this dude. They're white parents from Bushwick. Franny is on like a weird vegan diet right now, okay? All the bacon in that car is Patrick when he sneaks off to eat the food.
No, actually,
on his own because he's scared to eat it in front of Ross. Okay,
no, she's eating. The kid is eating so much bacon. I'm actually nervous. I'm gonna give her like a heart attack at the age of 5. Like, are we allowed? Should you just give them as much as they want? Like she has 2 strips a day. Not a day. Maybe she's having, let's say, 8 strips a week.
Is she keto or some shit?
I don't know. Somehow I started microwaving in the morning, and it was just like something she would eat no matter what. Like, because you know how they get picky about different foods, and sometimes you don't know if they're going to eat or not. It became like the one thing that she'll definitely eat. So is it too much?
I think you're fine. I mean, balance it with the other stuff if possible. But
yeah,
I think from years from 0 to like year 5, most of your job is just keeping them alive.
Yeah.
You know, so like you can't judge me because like I gave my kid 18 chicken nuggets a day. Okay, like they're here.
Yeah.
Now I could teach them later. Like right now, it's just keep getting them to the point to where they're old enough to listen.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm with you. Pro bacon. That works.
Hydrated and fed. Yeah.
That's it. They're
basics.
alive, and then like we could work on the coaching later.
All right, and then
what is that, Maslow's hierarchy or something?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What is it? Fulfillment or
what is food's got to be at the bottom. I figure like
what is the food and shelter? Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying.
Self-actualization.
Yeah. So right now you're doing food and shelter.
Yeah, she can actualize her own damn self. I'm just trying to keep the rain off her head, keep her warm. And yeah, the vehicle. I guess that is part of the shelter.
Sadly.
But it's sufficient right now. It's sufficient.
I've
You're
never
so upset with me.
Yo, real talk, be like I've never been so disgusted.
I am now thinking of other people I've opened for just a handful of times, and they haven't asked me back, even though I've done really well on the shows. I'm like, is it because of the fucking
Hell
car?
Yeah, it's because of the car.
You think so?
I'm positive, B. Because it's not even like it's not a diss to you. It's like, yo, like my back hurts, my G. Like I gotta be comfortable when I get to this show. You know, like I don't even book and not even on some flex. I always book the thing in between coach and first.
Yeah,
when I fly. Yeah, like business class, because like it's I feel different when I land, and like especially that first night when you usually got to land and perform.
Yeah,
like I can't be beat up and then I gotta go be funny on stage.
Yeah, see
it hurts. It's different.
This brings up an interesting concept with like as it connects to self-esteem. So like you know, I'm pretty open about being a sober guy. I go to 12-step meetings, and There are other 12-step meetings. There's one, and Ross and I have talked about it on the podcast. There's one relating to money. You
got to drive a Kia to take AA? Yo, that's crazy, B.
It's a requirement. Well, it's clear.
12 steps, drive an old-ass Kia.
Well, it's clearly a part of my rock bottom. No, there's a money program about Debtors Anonymous, and then there's another one connected to that called Under Earners Anonymous, and under earner is a person who doesn't have the self-esteem to know what they're worth and to know how to ask for what they're worth. And
interesting.
They have trouble with money stuff, and I've like tinges of that, or whatever the word is. I've like shades of that sometimes, and for me it comes in the form of like I'm booking a plane ticket. If I can do it, I'll get the cheapest possible ticket with the lowest number of amenities to try to save money. Same with hotel rooms. Or even motel rooms. I'm like, why would I spend $200 when I could spend $40 and because I'm just going to crash anyway, but then I'm uncomfortable the whole time.
Yeah.
I wish I had a nicer space, because sometimes you have to just kill time in a room.
Right.
And like, what if I spent extra money, I'd be happy to be here, but instead I'm in this disgusting place and wishing I would have invested more money. So it sounds like you've learned that early on in life, that it's worth, like, you're worth putting a little extra money into a thing.
I mean, to be clear, we're both 40, so this isn't early.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean,
but yeah. No, I mean, there's value to that. I hear you. Like, I've been in the I've done shows where like I stayed at a $20 motel, and like I get it. Like there's times you have to do that, and I ain't mad at it. Like that's how you like start.
Yeah.
And even now, like if it comes up and like I like the opportunity, I've slept in my car for gigs last year.
Yeah.
Where like I really wanted to do this spot, and like but money wise, if I booked the hotel, it wouldn't make sense anymore.
Right.
So yeah, I wanted to do it. I did the spot, and I just passed out in my Pathfinder, and then drove home after the show. So I'm not above that, but in turn, I also know every time I've done something like that, I feel it the next day.
Yeah.
You know, so when I don't have to, like, especially if I can negotiate it into the thing, yeah, I'll book a place where I'm asleep okay. Or, like, I'm a big dude. I don't want to be in the middle of a row and coach. You know what I mean? I want leg room. I want to, like, know that the buckle ain't going to require all of my power to get it over my stomach to buckle in for my safety. I just want to know I'm comfortable. They're going to give me some peanuts. Yeah. And I'm going to watch a cool movie in peace. Yeah. And, like, in turn, I think it shows in my product. Yeah. You know, I show up happy. I get to be more professional. Yeah, like, I just think it's part of, like, doing your job well. Is taking care of that pre-show stuff. Yeah. So yeah, like it ain't like I'm with you. Economics come first. But yo, there comes a point where like part of the economics is you making sure you taking care of you so you can get paid more by doing better. Yeah. Know what I mean?
No, and I have
unless like your whole spiel is like, yo, I'm an angry comic and I need to come off as bitter and pissed off because I ain't sleep for 4 hours, then yeah, keep torturing yourself in coaching and kids and shit.
Yeah, like I can only kill when I'm literally killing myself. Like this set's only gonna go well if I have a slip disc.
Real talk, then yo, by all means.
And indigestion and yeah, same with food on the road. Like like I'll go super cheap if I'm alone. You know, I'm like I'll just eat trash and then
food. I'm with you, but like only but it's actually because I'm trying to eat healthy. Like whenever I'm on the road, I always stop at a Trader Joe's and just get like a loaf of bread, some natural peanut butter, and a bunch of fruits. It's probably when I eat the healthiest, low key. And I just buy a bunch of like water. Yeah,
I did that right before the pandemic. In I think it was like February of that year. I got like 5 schools in upstate New York, and I did 5 schools in a row in a week. And I had a loaf of bread and the peanut butter in the car. You know, I got rooms every night, but I was like trying to just get like one good meal a day and then just snack the rest of the time. Yeah. And there's something romantic about that. It's like I'm a comic. I'm out here doing it. You know? Like I'm eating like a 4-year-old. Just like I'll have a Nana before I go on stage tonight.
Yeah. I guess like I love the idea of it, but also like I grew up as a hip hop head and like I can't picture like Jay-Z like I'm out here in Reasonable Doubt. Yeah. Also, you know, I gotta make my own peanut butter and jelly.
Well, he had Coke money too. He wasn't just. I'm so curious if you could see his revenue stream comparisons. Like when he was starting out as a rapper making $0, he was probably making, tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
A month. And then it flipped. Like eventually started making more money with music.
Yeah. But there was a few weeks there where he was like, man, I should just keep dealing this coke.
Yeah.
And it made perfect sense. Comics don't deal coke enough. That's the answer. If you're a young comic, start dealing coke.
I mean, that's how Miss Pat started.
There you go. It works. Now she got a sitcom on BET.
Yeah.
Miss
Did
Pat,
you watch her pilot?
Yeah. It's actually really dope. She has a good show. I would love to write for Mrs. Pat's show.
I met her in the airport. What city were we in? We were both in a random city flying out, and I said, I'm so sorry. I just have to say hello. I'm a big fan. And she said, and I was like, and I would never normally do this. I was like, I'm a comic, so it feels weird to even say hi. And she was like, oh, what were you doing? And I think it was a college time. I can't remember where we were, but yeah, it was a college thing, and she was like, oh, good for you. It was just really nice.
Yeah,
and,
I've heard great things.
Yeah, she's hilarious.
She has one of the things that I would love. She is, I believe, one of the over 40s to like get a JFL New Faces.
Oh, that's interesting.
What I mean? I love that
cool
idea.
Stat. Yeah,
yeah, because it's dope. It's like whenever you start, don't matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's still new to the game and new to the industry. I love that whole concept of like that and like her art being recognized. Even though she'd been doing it for a while, it was just dope that like the industry like acknowledged it.
Yeah.
Like, yo, she deserves to get seen more. So I'd love to get like a spot like that at like 45 or some shit. Like, yo,
yeah,
he's starting out, fresh face.
Well,
even though he's like 20 years in.
Yeah.
Well,
that is the truth for a lot of people who get new faces. They've been doing it for 12 years. I'd see it in your future.
Fingers crossed, baby.
I predict it. I see it. If you guys keep watching and supporting this podcast, it can only help our campaign to get Gastor up to Montreal. So please keep tuning in. Before we go on this episode, did anything make you mad this week that you wanted to check in about?
What's it mad about?
I was talking with my kids, and I got mad at the lack of imagination that we as a society are giving kids nowadays, because they asked me about old Brooklyn and memories I had growing up, and none of it sounded real to them. I was telling them about how like I'd walk home and like random pit bulls would just be out.
Like a DMX video?
Yeah, like they would just be dogs roaming the street. And like as a child, I had to learn how to walk in a way that didn't get a dog's attention, because it wouldn't be leashed. It would just be a free dog. And that was enough of a thing that I had to learn as a skill. And yet my parents felt was not a big enough deal to like not let me walk on my own.
Yeah.
And
they also weren't going on the Next Door app to be like, somebody left their dog off their leash.
Nope. It's just there was dogs out there.
Yeah.
And like other things like there was like an era where like I remember in like junior high school and in high school where like there was like speculation of like a chupacabra. And
yeah.
And like I talk to kids and they don't have like folklore. They don't have animals that are roaming. They don't have stories.
There's no mythology.
Yeah,
anymore.
there's none of that. It's just like everything is removed.
You're like, have
like
you heard
that.
of the chupacabra? They're like, is that on Snapchat? Or is that an Instagram filter? You're like, no, it was a monster roaming the streets in the middle of the night.
Straight up, we were scared, all of us. There was articles written about it, even though no one had a real clear picture.
Yeah,
but we all felt it.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. So this lack of imagination, do you think it is the screens and the video games and the like all that imagination is like provided to them?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, cause like when I ask them like there's creative things that they do that I find fascinating, but like it's a very specific kind of like thing they're imagining. Like they all look like my daughter would like imagine creatures, but they all look like Tinkerbell to me.
Yeah,
and I'm like, she has a very specific vision of that. And I'm like, yo, like, I don't know, like there's a lack of like possibilities, ironically, because of how much possibility they have at their disposal. Like they have an over amount of information. And like, it just like, everything that I brought up just didn't seem, and some of it wasn't even this like crazy. Like it was a simple thing too. Like I was talking about how like in New York when you drove, every like major intersection had like a squeegee guy.
Oh yes, yeah,
and
yeah.
She was like, "Why?" And I was like, "Cause that was a way to make money.
It was
like,
a hustle. Yeah,
it was a hustle."
Yeah.
And she's like, "What do they do now?" I was like, "I don't know. I don't know where they went.
Where did those guys
They
go?
disappeared."
Because my Kia Sorento could use a freshening up.
Straight up, you would give them $1. Not even. They would aggressively start squeegeeing your car.
Yeah.
And they would take $1 from you or
Yeah.
else.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
But it was a thing. And like you would have to like proactively wave them off. Like, nah,
Yeah.
I don't want you.
Yeah.
As soon as you got to the intersection. And she couldn't like wrap her head around the fact that like people were doing that.
Yeah. And you can roll that into a speech about how nobody wants to work anymore.
Yeah, yo.
Used to be you just go out there and make some money for yourself.
Straight up, how bad do you want $20 an hour?
You don't need permission to be an entrepreneur in this city.
You don't even need permission of the cars you're squeegeeing.
Yeah.
You just do it and then guilt them into giving you $1. It worked. It was amazing. There was a cool cardboard sign guy that like he had like the cardboard that he would flip around and like it was a conversation with you.
Those are big in other cities. Like I've noticed out west, like Seattle or like I think I was in Tacoma or some like various California towns I've been in. There's always the sign flippers just going for it. I never really saw them in New York.
We had them like I would say 25 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, like those are like fond memories for me as a kid. And
you had to go to Alvin Ailey dance school to learn how to get certified in sign flipping. I mean, that's like such an impressive skill.
What is it? The what method is that? The acting thing? The
Alexander technique? Or,
yeah, like the stuff. That's what you got to do with the sign flipping.
Yeah, the sign flipper actually has a pretty big role in Soul. Did we talk about Soul, that movie?
The piano dude?
Yeah.
Yeah, they just fire.
Remember the pirate?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Soul is beautiful, yo. Real talk.
Yeah.
I cried when I watched that movie.
Yeah.
I feel so connected to the dude.
Yeah.
My kids don't get it. It's one of those things where like they think like I had a friend that looked like the guy, and they think I'm like reminiscent of him passing away because they don't think I'd cry over a cartoon storyline.
Well, are you saying they don't get the film or they don't get why you were so emotionally attached to it?
Yeah, because like it, especially my son, like he doesn't see the direct connection. Like I'm just seeing art for art.
Yeah.
He doesn't. He's like, that guy plays piano. You tell jokes.
Yeah.
And he also doesn't necessarily see me telling jokes as art yet.
Right.
He just sees it as like I'm being silly on stage.
Yeah. Well, that makes me mad. That
Real
he doesn't respect you yet.
Yo.
But he will.
He will.
Well, I don't really. Let's cut this one short. I don't want to bog us down with more material. This has been a great episode. I feel like we really got to know you more, and I feel like I gotta start researching used cars on Craigslist.
Literally, like, or don't have that car anymore. Just leave it alone.
Maybe we could do one of those things where you just drive it off a cliff out in the middle of nowhere. And
listen, all I ask you to do is go on this Bushwick Reddit.
Yes.
And just tell people, hey, listen, there's a free Kia
on the corner of this and this.
2010, almost 200,000 miles. Here's the keys.
You're going to want a dustbuster to get rid of those goldfish.
Real talk. A lot of bacon in the back if you into that. And see how long it takes for that shit to disappear.
What I mean? If I can write that off, it's not a bad plan.
Yo, I'm telling you. But I predict several weeks.
Yeah.
Of this Kia collecting dust.
Honey, nobody's responding to my free car ad. She's like, I tried to throw that thing away weeks ago.
Real talk, B. Just go to a mall, park, and like forget what that shit is.
Hilarious. B. Oh man, it is gaining lots of new dents here and there.
You don't even give a shit when you park that thing, yo.
Yeah, which is nice though. That's nice. That's liberating.
Where's the bumper on this car? The car.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, the whole thing.
The whole thing, baby.
All right. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you next time.
Peace.